Hey guys, this is Illusion PODFIC, and today we're going to be reading Green Through and Through by Another Fucking Robin. This is Chapter 7. His world is fraying, ripping apart at the seams. Anger and grief and Green smother and constrict him. He can't go home. It doesn't exist. Ned, MJ, Johnny, Matt, May, they're all gone. He feels his chest rise and fall as he runs. He doesn't know why. He's empty, hollowed out. What could his chest possibly be filling with? Maybe green. That makes sense. That's what he's drowning in. Drowning and fleeing and chasing all at once. Forever. Overflowing and emptied. Feral and vacant. Anguished and numb. Sobbing and sobbing until he can't breathe. Does he even want to? The world is far away and distant. His connection is too severed. No one is there to reel him in, pull him back, or push him forward. There are no sounds that matter. Snorts of laughter, cane against concrete, clicking of Legos. All cold and dead and buried. He is their casket, their killer. The weight of his failure is heavy on his back, bearing down on him, pushing into his grave. Does his name have any meaning if there is no one to call it? The gold tries to talk, each syllable a knell in his ear. Go away, he tells it. Can't you see that everything I touch dies? It's not their fault. They can't see the real him, the one who is all savage nails and snapping teeth. The one hidden in his side behind the smiles and laughs under the corpses of his family. The cavity where his heart used to be fills with blame, dark and heavy, itching its way through his veins like rot, festering in his lungs like plague. It is both new to him and old as time, keen and fresh, but also melded to his core, deep in his bones. Are they even separate things? It feels like a part of him, like it's been there as long as he can remember and has only just acknowledged it. That scares him, so he runs. Running away and running towards, hunting and hiding all at once, made of nothing but silent tears, loud breaths, and deafening guilt. He finds himself on a rooftop. Heights have always sung to him, a siren song, melody sweet in his ears, serenading him in certainty, lulling his hesitation to no more than a whisper, daring him to jump into the crashing waves. He is alone here, no one to mourn him. It would be easy, quick, one step forward. Fly through the air again. Free. He hesitates as he steps, and he hates himself for it. He can't do anything right. The weight of the dead burdens him, but it's his alone to bear. His duty to remember them, because no one else will. No one else can. His face is wet with tears that he didn't think he had left in him. He wants to scream and cry to the universe at the unfairness of it all. He wants to curl in a ball and wail until he can't move. He wants to see someone, anyone that he knows, who knows him back. He wants to trade places with them. Why is he here? He deserves it the least. His foot hovers over open air. Hey, can you take a step away from the ledge? The gold is getting more desperate. This voice is louder and clearer than any of the others that it tried before. It sounds like it's coming from behind him, not like when it seemed to be resonating through his ears. It should know that its effort is futile. Even if he can hear, he won't listen. And even if he would listen, he can't stop. If he stopped, he would break, and he wouldn't be able to piece himself back together after. So why even try? Kid? A hand grabs his arm, spinning him around and pulling him away from the ledge. The hand is firm and warm and gentle. He didn't think there was any of that left, but he was wrong. It's grabbing his arm right now. The hand isn't golden like he thought it would be. Hey there, I need you to breathe. Do you think you can do that for me? He can hear loud, exaggerated breaths. Are they his? It doesn't feel like he's breathing. They sound calm, even. He tries to mimic them. The pressure on his arm is nice, grounding, just loose enough to be able to wiggle out of it if he wanted to. But he's just so tired. And even though the guilt threatens to crush him, he wants comfort. Shivers rack through his body, leaving him leaning into the hand, seeking its warmth. After a moment's hesitation, the hand snakes up to grip his shoulder, keeping contact with him the whole time, like a promise that it's not going to leave. Another reaches to his other shoulder and pulls him close to a warm body. Murmurings of consolation cut through the cold, quiet and indistinct, like a lullaby. He can hear the wind again. It's loud at this height, almost violent in its howling. And the city below him, he can hear that too. The cars and the people, crushing of shoes against concrete. Distant, not because he is far away from his body, but because his body is far away from the sound. That's new. Or maybe that's normal. He likes listening to the world with the undercurrent of reassurances in his ear. It's nice. It sounds like life. The hand squeezes his shoulder, the stream of words ceasing momentarily, bringing his wandering thoughts back to the moment. He looks over at the hand's owner for the first time, part of him expecting to see a face that he knows. He doesn't. Disappointment swells his chest. No, that's not fair of him. Even if the face isn't one he recognizes, the expression on it is. Lines etched with sincere worry, brows furrowed in concern and candor. It's one that is worn by friends and family, worn by heroes, one that used to be worn by him. It's something that hasn't changed, everything else is different, but that face is the same. A casual reassurance, freely given as if it means nothing, but it really means everything. Even the fabric of the suit is interwoven with familiarity, the feeling of spandex, Kevlar, and body armor against him. He has spent dozens of nights sewing up fabric just like it, only red and blue instead of blue and black. His eyes mist with memories and he lunges forward, wrapping his arms around the man's torso. It's his lifeboat, the only thing keeping him afloat in the riptide. The man takes a slight pause, hands still outstretched to where Peter's shoulders were just moments before. He wraps his arms around Peter's back, soft words spoken in his ears, breath humming in his hair. They stand like that for a long time, hands rubbing circles on shoulder blades, tears dampening fabric. It starts raining. Eventually he pulls away. When he has no tears left to cry and no energy to keep holding on, the man lets him go. They stand in silence. Do you have somewhere to stay? Peter nods. The man thinks for a moment, contemplating his next words. He seemingly finds what he was looking for and is about to say something when a small beep cuts him off. A deep voice sounds in the hero's ear, and something tells Peter that its gravel has nothing to do with the distortion of the speaker. Peter doesn't listen to the words, all too focused on the man in front of him. His jaw is clenched. Posture screams of frustration. He's absently twirling 2 batons between his fingers, foot tapping lightly against the rooftop. Nightwing, do you copy? Gunshots slice through the air, causing Peter to flinch into the taller man. I copy, B, but I kind of have a Peter jabs him on the arm, seizing his attention, and points meaningfully towards the sound of gunfire. He can't do anything to help those people right now, but he'll be damned if he wastes the vigilante's time and costs someone their life. The worry lines between the man's eyebrows deepen as his head moves back and forth, from the direction of the firefight to Peter's face and again. Finally, his posture settles in decisiveness. Stay here, he says, patting Peter's shoulder, before running and leaping off the building top. Peter races towards the edge, running to jump and save, but before he can, the man pulls an odd-looking gun and fires it. The grappling hook gun attaches to a nearby building, pulling him to safety. The way he moves through the air, gliding with all the grace and skill of a skylark, like he was born for the skies. Peter swings, sure, but this man flies. And it captivates Peter entirely, watching him flip and spin as he soars between the buildings. Before long, the black and blue silhouette merges with the dirty gray of the city and sky. Peter wants to stay like the man told him to, but he also wants to be warm and safe and dry. The wind and rain have seeped through his hoodie and skin, seemingly freezing around his bones, making them heavy and brittle. He has never enjoyed the cold, hating the lack of sensation in his fingers and fogginess that comes with it. Unfortunate side effect of the bite. If it gets too cold, his body will just shut down, forcing him into semi-consciousness. It isn't safe to do that here, in a city he doesn't know. He has to move. Golden figures melt out of the air. He recognizes most of them, some of them more than others, echoes of memories he can't reach. The fresh wound of home is too agonizing to dwell on, so he lets those thoughts run off. They start walking away to the edge of the roof. Peter takes that as his cue to follow. They lead him through the twisting maze of the city, waiting patiently as he fumbles through the slippery fire escape on the way down from the roof. Walking just fast enough that he's behind them, but slow enough that he can keep up, even in his frost-addled state. Waving ghostly hands in front of his face to try and keep him awake. The streets all blend into each other, making it hard to gauge how long he has been walking. Somewhere along the way, Peter notices the buzz and whir of electricity following him, distracting him from walking. He stops in his tracks, unable to keep moving his legs with the ever-present humming. The golden heroes turn to each other, questioning his sudden stop. Peter pays the confusion no mind, fully focusing on pinpointing the source of the noise. It comes from his shoulder, specifically a small blue disc in the shape of a bird. He crushes it between his fingers, silencing it, and continues walking. He sticks to the shadows, the less traveled paths, following the ghosts, avoiding the groups of men dressed as clowns or wearing black masks that make his spider senses buzz uncomfortably. He only starts recognizing where he is about a minute before he reaches the bookshop. The others have started fading, becoming harder and harder to focus on. His eyes keep sliding off of them, too tired and shaky to safely crawl or parkour up to the roof and let himself in. He stands outside the boarded-up door, swaying slightly. They're gone now. He is alone again. No, he can feel them, the others. A warm knot at the base of his skull. He is not alone. Not anymore. And if their words are to be believed, never again. He stumbles over to a window, bends the bars and slips inside. He tries to straighten them again, but his hands are too numb to do a decent job, so he leaves the job for future Peter. He gropes around for a wall before finding one, sliding down to his sitting position and collapsing into sweet unconsciousness. Alright guys, and that is the end of chapter 7 of Green Through and Through by Another Fucking Robin. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in the next chapter.